Here is the question that I believe is the most important question for us to be able to answer, because legitimate questions deserve legitimate answers. Peter says in 1 Peter that we are always to be ready to give an apology, an apologia, a reasoned response to anyone who asks us the reason for the hope that is within us. Here's that question. That question is, why do you choose to believe the Bible? That's the question. We must be able to answer that question in our culture today. It's a legitimate question that deserves a legitimate answer. But you see, because of anti-intellectualism, we hear that question, and usually we'll say something like, well, I believe the Bible because I was raised like that. Well, bless your spirit if that's your answer. But please, don't go out of here and say that to anybody. I beg you, please don't do that, because that is not a reasoned response. I was raised that way just doesn't cut it. Or sometimes, because we live in this culture of experientialism, sometimes because of this postmodern culture where what's true for you is not necessarily true for me, and the experience is king, there is another answer with which we have become accustomed that we think is a great answer to the question, and it goes something like this. Why do you choose to believe the Bible? Well, I choose to believe the Bible because I tried it and it worked for me. We say that and then we sort of back up a couple of steps, kind of let the answer sit there. Like we really just did something. What you did was open a logical hole big enough to drive a Mack truck through. That's what you did. Because if your only answer is you believe it because you tried it and it works for you, what about that individual who used to be an alcoholic 10 years ago? And he went to an AA meeting and they told him he needed a higher power. He couldn't find a higher power. There was a squirrel that came outside of his window every morning. He decided that squirrel was going to be his higher power. Hadn't had a drink in 10 years. Guess what? He tried the squirrel worked for him. According to your logic, his squirrel has as much authority as your Bible. In the words of Regis Philbin, is that your final answer? I hope it's not. Let me give you an answer to that question that I believe is better than I was raised that way. Or it's better than, well, I'm Southern Baptist and that's the way we believe. Or it's better than I tried it and it works for me. I want to tell you why I choose to believe the Bible. Because I don't believe the Bible because I was raised that way, because I wasn't. I don't choose to believe the Bible because I tried it and it worked for me. My mother's Buddhism worked for her. That's why she was a Buddhist. I need something more than just because it works. Here's the answer. I'll give it to you and I'll unpack it for you. I choose to believe the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report to us supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies and claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin.